Hello! Welcome to the reading comprehension portion of this course. This is one of 3 lessons on reading comprehension. So in this lesson, we'll go over the basics. The basics are skimming the text, reading through the text once, then underlining vocab words or words that you don't understand that well, or words whose meaning are vague. And then you'll also have to pinpoint the main idea of the text. All right, so let's get into it. So before you start reading the text, I think it's very important to skim it so you have an idea about what you're reading, and it will give you a sense of what to look for. So when I skim through each of these paragraphs, I will see certain words that repeat themselves. So let's just start with the title very quickly. Will biometrics replace passports? Okay, we have the word biometrics, passports. All right, I'm already having a sense of what this might be about. Then when we come to the first paragraph, airport security, stress of travel, biometrics. Again, these words are coming up. Security, screening, travelers, digital ID. All right, another passports again, biometrics, passport photos, fingerprints. Okay, so now that I have a sense that this text is about traveling and biometrics and physical identification, passport photos, fingerprints, I already know what I'm going to be reading. So this actually makes the reading much easier, and it'll be easier for you to pick out certain details that support the main idea of this text. So you can pause the video right now, read it on your own. I also have an audio, just audio without visuals, so you can hear the text if you want to hear it more than once. So let me begin. You can follow along if you'd like. Will biometrics replace passports? We all dread waiting in long lines at airport security, arriving 2 hours before takeoff. Makes traveling anywhere a time-consuming task. A 4-hour trip becomes an all-day excursion. To reduce the stress of travel, the use of biometrics will increase in airports across the world. In the United States, the Transportation Security Administration is expanding its program allowing passengers to opt in for a security screening relying on facial recognition to match with their physical identification. For example, TSA pre-check travelers who are flying on Delta Airlines may not even need to show their identification during bag drop and security if they opt into Delta's digital ID program. Also, Singapore's Changi Airport plans to adopt facial recognition technology for departing passengers, no longer requiring them to show their passports. Biometrics of the passengers will be measured against passport photos and fingerprints saved in a digital database. Some may be concerned with the prospect of having their biometrics uploaded to a governmental database. For many, the benefits outweigh the cost. The use of biometrics will make traveling easier and safer. After reading the text, it's very important to highlight any words that you don't understand or words that you might have a vague sense of what they mean, but you're not sure. So I've highlighted 3 words and a phrase: dread, excursion, and prospect, and then the phrase is facial recognition. This is just an example. Whether or not you know what these words mean is fine, but I think it's important to highlight the words that personally you don't understand, and look them up in a dictionary. I'm not going to define anything right now because I think it's important for you to use any type of online dictionary. I use Merriam-Webster, but there's many dictionaries online that you could use. So after highlighting the words and looking them up, and possibly, if you have time, make sentences out of those words. It will increase your use of vocab a lot. So now I'm going to go ahead and underline or highlight the main ideas of this text and very important details. So you can go ahead and do that and compare what you've highlighted to what I've highlighted. Okay, now you can see the sentences that I've underlined here. In the first paragraph, this is very important because it describes the main idea of the whole text. So, to reduce the stress of travel, the use of biometrics will increase in airports across the world. So, the whole text is about using biometrics, the increased use in airports around the world, and why? Because it reduces the stress of travel. Now, in this paragraph, these are examples of how biometrics are already being used in certain airports in the United States and in Singapore. So that's why I've underlined opt-in for security screening, relying on facial recognition to match with their physical identification. This describes biometrics, and it also describes more or less how it's used. Same here. To adopt facial recognition technology for departing passengers, no longer requiring them to show their passports. And a further definition of biometrics is given here. Biometrics of the passengers will be measured against passport photos and fingerprints saved in a digital database. This is more or less the conclusion, this last small paragraph here. Again, this is just a text, it's not an essay. It's just a text for you to get a sense of a topic. So here I've underlined concern with the prospect of having their biometrics uploaded. So this shows perhaps an opinion. You might have your own opinion about biometrics, but this is basically an informative text. Also, the conclusion that biometrics will make traveling easier and safer, which outweighs the concerns. Okay? Whether or not you agree with that is your opinion, but just remember this is a text, based mostly on information about biometrics. Okay, now that you have a sense about how to tackle reading comprehension, why don't you try it on your own? Good luck!